You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days fans. Well, mystery woman Marin was DNA tested, and Chad DiMera is thrilled because it seems he has gotten his beloved wife, Abigail Deveraux DiMera, back from the dead. However, the results Kayla gave them might mean something else entirely. Is there a huge twist ahead? It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and let's dig into why Abby might not be back after all, despite what Chad thinks. So there's all these questions about why Abigail could be back from the dead and how. We all watched Chad hold Abby in her arms as she died. Clyde Weston confessed to killing her after Leo Stark and some others were falsely suspected. And then Chad, Jack, Jennifer, all the kids, a lot of people in Salem were mourning Abby, and fans adjusted to the reality that super couple Chabby was just over for good and Abigail was gone. But at the same time, we all know dead is probably only dead in Salem about half the time. It's like a 50-50 chance if you die, you're not going to come back. More often than not, more often than is good, we get resurrections. And when Chad and Jack watched them exhume Abby's grave because of that video Clyde left for Chad, it was nail biting, waiting to see what was in her coffin because we know that they resurrect people. And as it turned out, it was a big old nothing, satin lining, no corpse. But again, we all saw Abby die from multiple abdominal stab wounds, and she drew her last breath, and Dr. Rolfe was nowhere around. There was no ambiguity in the fact that she had died, truly died. So now Chad and Jack have found Marin, brought her back to Salem after she told him, she knew Clyde, she had an accident, she had multiple surgeries, including ones on her face. So it seems like a classic Days of Our Lives setup for a resurrection. Jack and Chad convinced Marin take a DNA test because she had no idea who these people are, but she does want to know who she is. And of course, because it's a soap, she's got amnesia as well. So Kayla took samples from Jack and Marin, and then she handed the results over, and Marin wanted Chad to read them, and he did on a very recent Days episode. So I thought the test results were announced in a peculiar way. As Marin and Jack waited, Chad said she's a 50% match. And then she's asking, okay, what does that mean? And so Kayla explains to Marin, that means Jack is your father, because Abby would have 50% of his DNA and 50% of Jennifer Horton's, right? That's how genetics work. And then Chad told the new girl, just in case she wasn't clear, and that means you're my wife, Abigail. But maybe not. Is that really what it means? Because those test results, her being a 50% match for Jack, don't necessarily mean what Chad thinks it means, because there are actually 3 options for what those test results mean, and only one of them would mean she's Chad's wife, Abby, back from the dead. So behind door number 1, we have this improbable Days of Our Lives resurrection, and this woman is legitimately and truly Abigail Deveraux, not dead after all through some strange set of circumstances, and Charlotte and Thomas DiMera are about to get their mother back. Chad's going to get his soulmate back. It all sounds good, right? But that's way too easy. And also, there's the whole question of what's the link between this new Abby to John Black and his attack in Greece and them winding up in that same room together in Missouri. That makes no sense, but maybe Ron Carlivati wrote some convoluted plot to tie Clyde into this Constantine mess, but you'll have to admit it's strange. So now let's talk about what's behind door number 2. Jack has another daughter, Gwen Rizczech. She left town when Emily O'Brien took over the role of Teresa Donovan after they summarily ditched Jen Lilly without giving her any prior notice, is what the actress said. So Gwen left town to try and shake some of Dmitri von Leuschner's inheritance money out of his wealthy family in Europe. So a lot of people were wondering if Emily O'Brien might return as Gwen when she left as Teresa, and there is this rumor, this leak, whatever you want to call it, some inside info saying that the actress isn't gone from Days of Our Lives for good. So, it seems far likelier they would bring her back as Teresa because the Vixen only got 6 months in the Slammer. Yet, we have heard Gwen name dropped by Leo more than once recently. In fact, the most recent phone call Leo made to Gwen was on the same episode they did this DNA reveal, and Chad told her she was his wife. And that was Leo leaving another voicemail for Gwenny. Why bring her up if they're not bringing her back? So if they keep Emily O'Brien around as Teresa, bring her back in 6 months when she gets out of prison, then recasting Gwen as part of this resurrected Abby fake out is actually feasible. Piles of fans are convinced AnnaLynne McCord is not actually playing Abby. In fact, what they're calling her is really funny on Soap social media is Fabby, F-A-B-B-Y, fake Abby, in other words. So she told them that she had had surgeries on her face and all that. So maybe Gwen was overseas, had a serious accident, had surgeries, and then Clyde got hold of her to run this cruel con on Jack and Chad for whatever reason, knowing that she would be a DNA match for Jack, a 50% DNA match. So I don't know why they didn't DNA test this mystery chick against one of her kids or something of Abigail. Surely there's a DNA sample of real Abby somewhere in that hospital, or a lock of her hair that her mom has, or, you know, some hair stuck in a hairbrush, her toothbrush stuck in a cardboard box when they packed up her toiletries, whatever. Either way, Jack being a parental match to this Fabby girl doesn't mean she's Abby at all. She could be Gwen with a new face and a helping of amnesia, and Ron Carlivati is messing with fans just for fun. But there's actually one more option to consider. Behind door number 3 would be a secret twin. And, you know, secret twins are one of those soap tropes that absolutely drive me nuts, because as a woman who's gone through childbirth, I'm pretty sure I would notice if I had 2 babies in my belly or that I popped 2 out of my body. But Ron Carlivati has invented secret twin twists before. He's written on a bunch of different soaps. There's been secret twins all over the place. He's a fan of the genre. It's a standard soap trope. But based on the circumstances under which Jennifer gave birth to her firstborn, I think it would be kind of insane to try and rewrite that history. If you don't remember, Abby was born back in 1992 when Jack and Jennifer were trapped in a snowstorm at this like remote cabin. They had to take shelter there. So they were alone, just the 2 of them, not at a hospital. And Jack actually personally delivered his daughter, Abigail. So I think Jen and Jack would have noticed if an extra baby had popped out. So there is still another possibility of a secret twin, though. You know, Jack had another daughter he doesn't know about, kind of like how Gwen popped up out of nowhere and Clyde found out and got hold of that mystery kid. You know, that seems probable, improbable. It could be a Gwen secret twin, or it could be just another Jack kid from at some point when he was off fooling around, because they created Gwen out of nowhere. They could create another kid out of nowhere. That would seem strange. You know, for now, Chad and Jack are all excited, and Jennifer comes to town late this week looking to reunite with Abby, who does not remember anything, and she's freaked out by how intense Chad and Jack are being in their joy that she's back from the dead, but she is very detached from all this because she has amnesia. However, given all the Gwen name drops and the hint that Emily O'Brien could be back as Teresa, to me, door number 2 feels more likely, you know, that she is Gwen with amnesia, the DNA match, facial surgery. They could double down on the insanity, give Gwen a secret twin. They could really go insane, give Abby a secret twin, but that seems excessive considering this much simpler explanation works. In the end, I am starting to suspect that Martin is Fabby, you know, AKA fake Abby, AKA Gwen with facial surgery and amnesia. And that would explain the spoiler for next week about Abby recovering a memory. Because remember, Gwen lived in the DiMera mansion for a while. She knows a whole lot about Abby because she was completely obsessed with her life, and they do have overlapping family members. So this memory she recovers could be Gwen's memory of Abigail and not Abigail's memory. Think about that. The bottom line, I don't think fans should get too excited, you know, about thinking that this means Dear Abby is back. I really don't think that's who she is at all. Rerun does not seem to care what fans want to see. You know, And I don't think fans want a fake Abby, but we're being inundated with lame body and soul stuff, taking over, eating all the episodes, and nobody wants that. And if they have built all this up to be Gwen back from gold digging in Europe instead of Abby back from the dead, I don't think fans are going to appreciate the con job, and they are already smelling a rat from all the comments I see on Soap social media. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments. Do you think she's Abby, Fabby, Gwen, or another new mystery kid of Jack's? Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you're not following us, and definitely come back soon. I'm here talking Days of Our Lives with you guys 7 days a week. And as always, it's Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.